Well, things are mostly back to normal here at home, so I'm finally able to get back in front of the camera and bring you the forecast just in time to tell you that there could be more storms today, and then we just get freaking hot after that. Storms right now from about Vernon on down towards Weatherford, and we could have our own storms later today. The last couple of days we've had storms that I wasn't really expecting. 2 days ago, of course, we had those severe storms that brought damaging winds from Ennis down to Corsicana. And trust me, I'm done underestimating the winds from these storms. And then yesterday, we had an outflow boundary that blew up some storms right around midday. And I think that this morning, probably starting around 10, 11 o'clock, we could see some activity from this. These two southern cells popped up just in the last several minutes, so I think that we could be moving up the timeline a little bit for at least some of this activity to affect our area, and we'll be watching for another possible complex tonight, but like the last 2 nights, probably nothing. The temperatures today, see if I can get those to come up here. The temperatures today, we're right around the mid-90s. So again, heat index values will bring these into the upper 90s, close to 100 degrees. The humidity isn't quite as bad today. I say not quite as bad. It's still humid out there. Overnight tonight, though, we're right around the mid-70s, mid to upper 70s, and this is actually cool compared to where we will be. So if you have to get things done outside, do it today. Still try to avoid the afternoon hours, but do it today. We get hotter after this. Here's our setup, and there's two things I want to show you. One is this low pressure system that's been sitting here over the deep south. That expanded westward, so that has brought this northwest flow in. Not only did that bring cooler temperatures, but it's bringing us this flow from the panhandle, which is why we've been talking about this potential that some of these systems that have been up there might make their way down to the southeast. Now here's the thing. They haven't really done so, but we have had storms throughout the daytime hours the last couple of days. A lot of that is due to outflow or leftover energy from these other systems that are going through, so that can make it hard to predict. When you have one of these little outflow boundaries or those kind of things, it's really hard to predict exactly when those are going to pop up storms, where, that kind of thing. So today, storms are possible really all day. So that's pretty much how I'm going to craft the forecast today. This will retreat eastward again. This will move back to the east, and here we have it, the dome of high pressure. I talk about the dome of high pressure every summer. We talk about this, and that will be moving in our way, and yes, we will have abnormally warm temperatures. I have people tell me all the time, it's hot in Texas, deal with it. This is dangerous heat. This is above normal. This isn't normal for this time of year. We should be right around where we are today. Today's more normal. 101, 2, 3, 4, that's not normal for this time of year. The other thing that's not normal is to have two tropical storms hanging out in the Atlantic at this time of year. It's hurricane season, but it's early. We're not quite to that peak point yet. The good news is we won't see a whole lot out of these. Now, that's not necessarily good news for our area, but it is good news for the coast. Cindy here will move up into the Atlantic Basin, at least that's the forecast right now, and generally weaken. She'll stay a tropical storm, become a tropical depression, move up and out into cooler waters, and that's all she wrote. Brett here we've been watching. Now, Brett had a much more significant forecast than it has now. Right now it looks like it will ride the northern coast of South America and then kind of just fizzle out in the South Caribbean. So that's the forecast there. Brett doesn't seem to really want to do much. Now, what I will be watching is if Brett wants to somehow kind of start to migrate northward a little bit, maybe into the warmer waters of the Gulf of Mexico. Something could happen there. Time will tell. But at least for right now, neither of these storms look to be affecting North Texas. Here's our day planner today. So right around now, we're right around the low 80s, and we will be getting into the low 90s by 1 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 95, 96 degrees across our area. So we will warm up pretty quickly today, and warming up is pretty much all we have ahead of us. 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms. I've got that pretty much all day at this point. I think 10, 11 o'clock we could start seeing some of that activity from the northwest. Midday, early afternoon, we start heating up, so then we start increasing more lift. Late afternoon, we're probably rid of that energy at that point. So I think the late afternoon might be our lull in activity, and then we will be watching for that system up in the panhandle to see if that can come in, but not likely, not likely. The last two haven't been able to make it. we'll watch it just in case. If we do get that system in, we could have a low chance of maybe a few showers and thunderstorms lingering into early tomorrow morning. But tomorrow afternoon, yes, the winds pick up and so do the temperatures. 100 tomorrow, 102 Sunday, 102 Monday, 102 Tuesday. I think by the middle to end of next week, we're getting into the 103 range, 103, 104. Those breezy southwest winds continue. So just, I want to reiterate here. I've had so many people tell me it's hot in Texas, quit complaining, quit hyping this up as some major situation. Our heat advisory goes out tonight at 8 o'clock. So I think tomorrow we will probably start the excessive heat warnings once again because the humidity will come up, which means that we will be bringing back those heat index values of 110. And then I think as closer we get to next weekend, we could be looking at heat index values getting closer to 120 or so. That's insanely hot, and that's dangerous for the human body. So make sure that you're staying shaded, you're staying hydrated. Try to avoid those afternoon hours. Don't be outside when that peak heating is going on if you can avoid it. You'll probably see a lot of workers out on different projects that work in the morning. They're nowhere to be found in the afternoon. Maybe they work a little later in the evening to try to avoid those hours. So make sure you're checking on folks too. If you know someone that may not have sufficient AC, air conditioning, and cooling capabilities, just check on them. Make sure that they are okay. And please take care of the pets too. Don't make the dogs walk on that seething hot pavement. Bring the dogs in if you can. If you can't, just make sure they're shaded. Make sure that they're hydrated as well. Everyone will be at risk during this heat. So this weekend, be prepared for that today. This is your day to get things done outside you need to do. I know in the mornings it's kind of hard to mow the yard, which is why I generally avoid the mornings. The dew can gum up everything. In that evening time, that golden hour, as photographers like to call it, when the sun's going down, but it's not quite dark yet. You'll have a few cooler days, or a few cooler hours rather. Maybe we can get some rain in here to bring some rain-cooled air. We've been fortunate, at least some of us, in the afternoon hours, that those storms come up in peak heating and hey, they trim off a few degrees and we cool down faster. So we could get a little bit lucky that way, but overall, today is going to be the coolest day for a while. And you notice the lows get into the 80s as well, so we may not get below 80 degrees for a while. It's going to be hot out there. Stay safe this weekend. There's plenty of outdoor events. Just make sure you bring plenty of water. Bring the umbrella to keep yourself shaded. Be smart out there. Use your common sense. And again, stay safe in this record heat. I'll see you again Monday, unless we bring severe weather coverage overnight. Hoping not, but we could have just a couple more storms, and then Monday we start talking about that excessive heat once again.